Today we have the Seiko Alpinist GMT. This is the SPB379er. Big thanks to Exquisite Timepieces, Naples, Florida. Authorized dealer for over 60 brands. I've purchased many watches there. I've said this before, guys. I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but I need to make sure you guys understand that, like, I was working with Exquisite before I even did the channel. So that's why it totally makes sense for me to work with them, you know, now. Like, so we can see these watches together. Like, so link in the description. Tell Tyler I sent you. They have pretty much anything you can think of. Like, I can't even list off all the brand names. You guys see them. You guys see what videos I label as Exquisite timepiece ones. And those are the ones, just the ones that, like, I cherry pick or Tyler cherry picks. But they have, like, a ton more. A lot of the brands are, like, not in my wheelhouse, meaning that they're, like, you know, $100,000 and $200,000 watches and stuff, which I think are really cool. And I know there's definitely a market out there for you for those watches, but it's just not what I gravitate towards. But when I go down there to visit, sure, I'll show them because they're there, right? So let's get into this guy. This is an iconic watch transformed to what the people want. The people want the GMT. They want the bezel with the 24-hour track on the outside. And they still want that Alpinist heritage and look and vibe with the watch with the cathedral hands. And this has all of that. So are there some downsides? Of course there are. It's a little bit on the thick boy side, but we're going to talk about that. Case size on this, I measure 39.3 millimeter. The lug to lug is a 46.4. That's why this watch works for a lot of people with smaller wrist or people that just prefer the smaller watches because that shorter lug to lug. Now the thickness, 13.8 millimeter, just slightly thicker than, say, like a traditional Seiko SKX diver. This does still have the 200-meter water resist that all those divers carry, but it's on the thick boy side. So that's just what we get. Could they thin it down a little bit? I don't know, maybe, probably, but they didn't. It's 13.8. Sapphire crystal up top, 20 millimeter lug opening here. Comes on a strap that I think a lot of people will like. I would switch it out, but it is a really good strap. It's not like the old, remember the SARB 017 Alpinist when they first came out? Those straps were just terrible. Seiko has long since upped their game with their straps. They're actually softer, more comfortable. The padding is more flexible. The clasp and everything just works so much better with these newer models. You have a 5.8 millimeter screw down crown. It is not signed. And then this crown here operates that inner rotating bezel, which is a compass. So you can find your way on an expedition if you want with the compass feature on this. So inside is the 6R54 automatic movement. You can see it through the display case back here on the back of the watch, as well as some other information there. Top sapphire crystal, meaning that if they label that right there, top sapphire crystal, that automatically means that this back one's going to be a hard Lex crystal. Doesn't really matter. I don't care. 6R54. So that movement still beats at the, you know, the kind of the standard Seiko, most of their movements at 21,600 beats per hour. This one does have 72-hour power reserve, or rather, as it says on the dial, automatic 3 days. So that is pretty cool. They extended the power reserve. It also, accuracy-wise, the factory rating for this movement is +20 to -15 seconds per day. Absolutely love the cathedral handset and layout of an Alpinist watch. Pretty much all of them have that. Not all of them, but most of them have that, and they just look really cool. This isn't the first GMT Alpinist either. They've done this before, back in the day. I know the Alpinist fans, there's like a subculture of Alpinist fans out there. You guys will know. You guys will know. You can even chime in the comments. You probably own one or have owned one. I don't know all the details on them, but this is the modern variant of it. You can see the date wheel kind of stuffed in between the 4 and the 5 o'clock. Not really 4:30, it's just past it, but it is at the same plane as all the other Arabics on the dial. So the 12, 3, 6, and 9 are still fully on the dial, and there's no interruption of the dial. So the balance is still there, even though it is just kind of tucked down there. And then you have that really nice GMT hand stretching all the way out kind of helping you point to the outer bezel so you can track that second time zone. Now this watch, or this movement rather, is, if I can get it done here, that's the winding. So you go here, the GMT hand only goes in the forward position, and then if you turn the crown in the other direction, it just adjusts the date. So what you have here is what people traditionally call a caller's GMT. That's one way to put it, but I would say it's a quick set date GMT, because if you have the quote traveler's GMT, you have to use that GMT, or the quick set hour, to adjust your date. And if you guys are like me, I have a lot of watches, so that just takes time, and I don't mind that interaction with the watch, and that's why I really don't, when it comes to a GMT, I'm totally fine with this style or the other style. In many cases, I actually prefer this style. So I know a lot of people get hung up on that, and they think they have to have the traveler's one, but if you're a watch enthusiast and you're really not traveling that much, and you're just wearing your watch as a fashion watch like most of us are, the quote caller's GMT actually makes more sense, in my opinion, based on fact. So this thing also has some anti-magnetic properties up to 60 Gauss, so that helps a little bit. That's gonna probably hold off some regular everyday magnetic fields and keep the movement running strong. Let's pop it on my 7 1/4 inch wrist so you can see what that looks like. Nice clasp system. There it is. It's maybe a little too snug for me, but I just adjusted out one position and it would work fine. But you can see I can clearly pull off an Alpinist. I'm sure you can as well, and many of you probably already have. Does the thickness matter? No. I'm going to say no. If you really like this watch, then the thickness doesn't matter. So take it or leave it. I know you can argue about it, but the reality is if you want a GMT style Alpinist, then I say 13.8 is fine. So I'm going to give you the lume shot. Don't forget to reach out to Tyler directly with the contact information I put down below. Make sure you tell him Random Rob sent you. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next vid.